Hey guys, this is Aaron with Stubborn Brothers Brewery. One thing that I've noticed a lot, I go to a ton of bars, especially if they serve my beer. I am always watching the bartenders. I am always watching the hostesses, the waitresses, everyone in the service industry to try and see how they're pouring a proper beer, etc. And for me, it's troublesome how much sometimes they overpour or don't pour correctly. And so as a result, we really want to make sure that we know how to pour a proper beer. And so this is our version of how we want our staff to pour a proper beer. If you guys do something different, kudos to you. But for us, it is incredibly important that they pour correctly. So for us, first you always start with the clean glass. All right, we want to make sure that we do a rinse. I pre-rinse my glass ahead of time before this video. We want to make sure that we rinse it because there is chlorine that ruins your head. There's other surfactants and other things like that that are actually hanging around your glass that we want to rinse out. That's why we use good old-fashioned water to rinse it out, make sure that hopefully we don't have anything remaining. I always do a 3 count. Some do a 5, some do less, but I always recommend at least a 3 count to make sure that we really have this glass well rinsed. We don't have surfactants, we don't have chlorines, we don't have things hanging out there that ruin the head of the beer, okay? So with that, right, we have a clean glass. Then from there, we always go to the beer that we want. Today we're pouring Shannel Club Pilsner. Very nice, easy to drink beer, okay? Shannel Club Pilsner, like I said, it's a Pilsner, it's light. We're going with a flow control faucets. All the beers that we serve here are flow control faucets. And when we go, this is incredibly important. When you commit to using a tap, you do not commit half-ass, okay? You do not go like, well, you know, I'm gonna kind of open it. No, it's either on or off. There's no middle of the road. There's nothing like that, okay? So we're going full on. We open strong. Our nozzle here is in the glass. It's not touching. And then we're gonna start turning it lower. Look at that. Okay? So with that, okay, we have a full glass of beer. We have about quarter inch ahead. I'd prefer a little more, but with that, we touched basically the top of the rim with our head. We were able to go on the side of the glass and fully fill the glass, and on top of that, we're preserving the beer and making sure that we have a great presentation. Obviously, I used a correct Pilsner glass with this as well. That's so important, and yeah. So once again, I'm gonna do it one more time just for the sake of argument, guys. Just because it's so quick. There's so much that's going on here, okay? I'm gonna step out of frame for just a second. 2, 3, okay? So once again, correct glass. We got a Pilsner glass here, okay? We're going to our Shannel Club Pilsner. The spout is actually in the glass, okay? We're not touching the side, but we're very close. The reason that we do that is we don't wanna create turbulence. If people pour like this down here, they're creating turbulence. You're gonna get 3.5 inches or more of head that maybe some like, but for me, that's not an ideal pour. We want to make sure that you're doing everything perfect and having an awesome presentation to the client or the customer, okay? So, like I said, we're in there. We're pulling the handle on completely, no middle of the road, okay? Dropping, off. Look at that. I'd drink that any day. I'd be incredibly happy if someone presented that to me. I would have no questions. I wouldn't be like, wow, this beer is flat or there's any trouble. Because one, they rinsed it. They made sure there was no surfactants. There was no chlorines in there to ruin your head, okay? They were in the glass to when they started to pour it and it went to 100% on, thus creating zero turbulence, thus limiting the amount of CO2 breakout or any problems that there could be. And then from there, they leveled the glass out and brought it down a little bit to create about a 1/2 inch of head, okay? For me, this is the perfect pour. There's nothing more you could ask for from a bartender. But in my experience, half the time the bartenders are pouring, I don't know who taught them this, they're pouring down here. They're pouring low, and they're expecting the beer to stay, the CO2 in the beer, to stay in the solution. You're not gonna have that when you're pouring low, okay? You wanna be close to the nozzle, okay? That's why you have regular cleanings of your nozzles, you have regular cleanings of your lines, so that way you have a good product. Your bartenders should be wiping these down every single day, at least 2 to 3 times. If they're not, we got trouble, okay? We wanna make sure that we're not having stale old beer, bacteria, or any kind of other stuff that could grow. Mold, that's a real concern in a lot of bar industries, but we don't ever talk about it. We wanna make sure we're wiping these down and we're doing a correct pour. So that's all I got for you guys. Thanks so much for coming. I know that was a lot of information. Cheers.